When did a game of hide and seek go horribly wrong? Please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy this content. I thought I would be clever and hide underneath an abandoned vehicle in somebody's yard. It was covered with hornet nests underneath. I was the first one found. Got 63 stings. They chased me for a block, just like in a cartoon. Cloud of bees behind me. If you ask me, when they started a new round, because everyone had been found, except me, at my birthday party. We had just recently moved into our neighborhood, and my sister, 5 at the time, was playing hide and seek with a neighbor kid. Long story short, kid couldn't find her. All the adults started going around the neighborhood shouting for her. It was getting dark. After a while my parents called the police. Someone eventually found her, and she said she did hear everyone looking for her, but she was playing hide and seek so she wasn't coming out until someone found her. Parents called the police back and told them not to come. That's how we met most of our neighbors. Edit. Since lots of people are asking, she apparently wasn't even hiding well. She told me she was in front of the neighbor's garage, not even in or behind. She is much smarter these days, but still very stubborn. Before I was born, my brothers and sisters played a game at my aunt's house down by the river. My eldest brother decided to hang by his fingertips inside the water well. Meanwhile, and unknowing of that fact, my other brother thought about hiding up inside the little steeple cover of the well, and to get to it needed to slam shut the well cover. LMAO. Slam. Blood-curdling scream. Splash. Cries for help. Between fits of unadulterated anger, interspersed with disbelief and worry, my aunt, grandmother, and mom managed to get him pulled up, which wasn't easy because with all of those smashed fingers of his, he couldn't hold tight to a rope. When I was a kid, my 2 older brothers would always make me be it. One time they both hid in a trunk full of clothes. I was probably 6 or 7, so I decided to lock them in. Only I didn't have a key. They panicked like crazy, and were having trouble breathing. The babysitter was going crazy. I think she broke the lock eventually, but it was some scary moments. So when I was a wee kid and a scout, we played hide and seek in the dark. We usually played something like this every time the last 15 minutes. It was a medium-sized cabin. Essentially, there was a lot of places to hide, lots of stuff just lying around. For some reason there was a coffin there, and nobody, as far as I know, ever hid inside, because it's a coffin, and that's just creepy. But my smartass hid inside it. Unlucky for me, another guy also looking for a hiding spot saw me. He decided to lock the coffin I was inside of. Yeah, I had claustrophobia for quite a while afterwards. P.S. I have an intense hatred of the name Marcus since that was the bastard's name. My grandma was Jewish, and she was playing hide and seek with her brother as kids. She hid well and was very happy. The thrill of excitement from finding the perfect spot. Nobody would find her there. Then, out of nowhere, a group of Nazi soldiers break in the house. My grandma told me this story and at this point, she starts crying. She told me she couldn't see anything, but she could hear the screams of her own family as they were carried away. Her mother, her father, her brother and her sister were all taken, and she never saw them again. She was left alone in this world. It had truly traumatized her to this day, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. I was, and still am, horrified at this story. She was lucky to be alive. When I was about 8 years old, my little brother who was 6 at the time, and my little sister who was 3 years old, were playing some type of easy hide and seek in my grandparents' backyard. Well, there are woods behind their house. Our sister, being a defiant toddler, ran into the woods, and my brother just saw her run in and ran in after her. They were in the woods for hours because she ran in so deep, and they both got turned around. Our brother found a hunting post, climbed up it into the tree, and found a way out. They then knocked on doors, covered in dirt and scratched up, until someone answered. A woman gave them a ride back, because our brother was able to point out landmarks to get back to our grandmother's house. They got back while my mother was on the phone with the cops. They were discussing a helicopter to find them. We were this close to a search party. They walked a collective 2 to 3 miles. They could have gone miles deeper into rural woods if they didn't keep going one way and find the post. So yeah, watch your damn kids. Telling them don't go into the woods does not guarantee they will listen. I managed to send an entire store on lockdown and freak out my entire family when I was maybe 5 years old. My family was at Lowe's, and I decided to take my Kirby plushie with me and hide behind some shelves or boxes and see if they could find me. Turns out they couldn't, and ran around outside because they thought someone kidnapped me. The entire store went on lockdown for a missing child. All the while I'm sitting, giggling and waiting for them to find me. I eventually came out of hiding after my mom passed me and got in huge trouble afterwards. I never hid in public again as a kid. My 10-year birthday party. My friends and I played hide and seek, Caterpillar edition. We put sleeping bags over us and wandered around in the dark to find each other. One of my friends lunges to tag another friend, fell and went head straight into her face, knocked out 2 adult teeth and broke her nose. Blood everywhere. She had to go and get surgery. Her parents threatened to sue my parents, but eventually got over it. She was never allowed to come to my house again. My friend hid in the drawer under my bed. I found her and pulled the drawer out. When she moved forward to climb out, it tipped and the edge landed on my big toe. Fast forward 6 hours and I'm in A&E having a hot needle jammed into my toenail to release the pressure of the blood that had built up behind the nail. Yes, it did spurt blood, but my toenail fell off a week or 2 later, which was pretty cool. We were about 8 years old. When I was 8, I was at a birthday party of my neighbor's daughter. We had mutual friends, and one of them, let's call him Toby, wasn't really the brightest. Anyway, the daughter then all challenged us to a game of hide and seek. For context, they lived on a farm which wasn't the smallest, so there was plenty of space to hide, but we all agreed to only hide in the barn and on the main plot, and not the meadow behind it. It only took the daughter about 15 minutes to find me and the other kids at the party, except for said Mr. Toby. After about half an hour of searching for him, we started to get concerned. By this time, it was about 5:30 p.m. and we were all getting ready to go home, but Toby was nowhere to be found. Our parents agreed to let us stay until 7 p.m., hoping that he was found by then. After Toby wasn't found, Toby's parents called the cops and a search squad was sent out. Still no sign of him. The cops gave up. The next morning, I woke up to my parents telling me, in a tone of relief, that Toby was found. Apparently what happened was that Toby somewhat got lost and was only found 8 hours later, standing on the side of a road that was 4 miles away, with his shorts and t-shirt all ripped and damaged. He was only found after a relative spotted him with his headlights. Oh, did I mention that Toby was new to the area and didn't know where he was? We are still friends to this day, 18 years later, and whenever we are drunk, we bring this story up and just laugh our guts out about it. About him not being very bright. Yeah, he now has his master's degree in mechanical engineering. I was 2 at time, and me and my 4-year-old brother decided to include my 4-month-old sister in the game of hide and seek. Me being very smart, decided to hide in the bathroom with my baby sister, and I thought it was a good idea to put her in the toilet, since she was small enough to fit in there. After a minute or 2 I hear a splash. I ran over to the toilet to see my sister's head in the water. I thought she was just playing so I left her there. Then my brother came and saw her. He quickly pulled her out before she drowned. We never played again.